Banu is already joined. Let's give it a few minutes.
Sure.
Okay. So go outside. Then I'll start the watch party now from Kiran's profile.
Yeah.
Start watch party with Meeta Shankar. Okay. Raj, sorry, Banu. I had no lights. I took all the lights to wedding, so whatever lights I have, I'm using that. Okay, we have about 10 people. We'll give it few minutes and we'll start.
Sure.
Okay, I think we can start. We have about 20 people, I think, including the YouTube and FB viewers. Okay.
Okay.
So hi guys. Today's session is going to be specifically in English because Neeta okay Tamil தெரியாது. So we'll have it in English. Okay. So today's session, so basically it's going to be we saw the posters actually, and then I had to look at the poster once more. It was just mentioned challenges faced by a female photographer in this wedding industry or as a photographer in general. So I would like to rephrase that. It should have been challenges and advantages faced by a female photographer in this industry, because now that we speak, we are in a generation where certain fields are even being dominated by female photographers. For example, newborn or maternity. So those kind of work which needs intimate relation with the said client. So those kind of fields are getting dominated. Even wedding and fashion fields, like over the world, if you see, like most of my the people I follow, like big names like Annie Leibovitz, Lindsay Adler, Susana Barbara, everyone is like the field is getting dominated by female photographers. More and more female photographers are coming. This is in the international scale. In an Indian level, actually, in Indian wedding photography and the portrait photography, many female photographers are just coming into the field actually. So lots of very good photographers, not just female. I myself have seen lots of photographers in India who have won lots of awards and very inspiring work they do actually. So today we have Neeta Shankar, who happens to be a industry leader, and he's a Godox brand ambassador and a Nikon mentor, or I think there's a word for it, Nikon expertive, right? Am I pronouncing it right? Okay, Nikon expertive actually. So every brand has a certain name. So Nikon expertive. Okay, so she's and also she's a photo mentor as well. So she's been in the field for a very long time. I think it's a decade, right?
Since I picked up a camera, yes, it's been a decade. But since I started professionally, it's about 7 years.
Okay, so close to a decade she's been in this field, and she's one of the biggest names in Indian wedding photography industry. So today we'll be hearing the challenges as well as what advantages a female photographer, in this case Neeta Shankar, has faced. Okay, so Neeta, over to you. So just to start with, we'll just ask the question: what are the challenges faced as a female photographer? What are the challenges you have faced till now, actually? So
Okay. So hello everybody. I'm Neeta Shankar, and it's a pleasure to be here on this channel. Thanks for inviting me, guys. So to start off, to answer your questions, I think, I mean, to be honest, when someone asks me this question, it always gets me thinking because I really don't consider, being a woman as a hurdle or a challenge in any sort of a work. So I've never considered it that way. So it always gets me thinking when someone asks me, okay, what are the challenges you face as a woman in this field, in this male dominated field? First of all, I don't think it is male dominated. As you rightly said, there are so many women photographers out there and who are doing excellent job. And I think the field, is uh, got a really good participation from women. It's probably could do better. I mean, could do with more participation from India. But yeah, it's getting there. So whenever someone asks me this, I'm always, I always have a think and come up with an answer. So yeah, there are, of course, there are certain challenges with respect to work hours, and because as a wedding photographer, you end up shooting late hours. You end up shooting overnight, and then the travel and commute. With respect to safety of women, there are a few challenges. But if you have a good support system in terms of a good team who can who can tag along with you, then I don't think it's a big challenge. Yeah. So.
So yeah, nicely put actually. So the to be honest, the topic itself should not be like challenges faced by a female photographer, like you said.
Yes.
It should be like we should come off from that. No, we are in that generation where we think like everything is equal. So it should not be
Yes.
just for like male or female. Actually, everything should be equal. Actually, so
Yeah.
keep-
In
keeping.
fact, from the time I've started, I've actually never felt like I'm in a male dominated field, and it's difficult for me to do something in this. I've never actually felt that, because I think at least with my family and with the way I've grown up, I've never been told that, okay, you're a girl, you have to do things certain way, you're only supposed to do this, or you're only supposed to do that. I've never been told that. So
Mhm.
so that way, I've never actually thought about it like, okay, being a girl, this will be difficult or anything. So most often I feel that women kind of put limitations on themselves by saying that, okay, this is a male dominated field, I cannot do this or something like that. But it's the limitations we put on ourselves, rather than the because the society is definitely changed now, and it's no longer completely patriarchal. And so it it is all in our head, and it is all in the way we look at things. So I believe that women can do anything. Women can take up any challenge, because we are extremely strong, and may not be physically, but by nature we are really strong, and we can handle all kinds of challenges and uh, all kinds of situations. So I would love to see more women get into wedding photography. I think especially in India, because the whole field has so much of potential, and women being really good with empathy, and uh, being being the kind of as it for women, it empathy comes easily, and it becomes really easy to shoot weddings when you are a woman. So as in, it's easier to catch moments, it's easier to find the right kind of frames that will actually be memorable for your clients. So I think more women should get into it, and probably the challenges are more in our head than elsewhere. So
True. And your point on the physically strong, I think women are getting there as well, because I can see women running the 100-meter dash, or in Olympics, they're almost equaling the male. So maybe in a close to 100 years, I think they will dominate. Uh,
yeah.
okay, so like you said, right? So you kind of grew up in an environment, your family, everyone was supportive. So, but there would have been a certain time. Now the time has changed. We are living in a totally different time now. There would have been a time when you started, because you said 7 years ago. Okay, so there would have been a time where like people would have said like, okay, women should always assume a traditional role. Okay, so was there any point in your career did someone come and tell those things to you?
Of course, it always happens. Like not everyone can be progressive. Not everyone, thinks the way your family thinks. So, of course, there have been moments when there are certain clients who kind of indicate that, uh, you know, as a woman, we won't be capable enough to handle a certain big project. Or it could also be there has been situations when certain brands have told me that as a woman, I'll be given a different kind of role compared to a man because just because I'm a woman. So it happens all the time. So, but of course, the way
How
I
did
work is
you like see, there have been questions like you said, right? Maybe it's your entire family, the circle which you are there in, has a very progressive and a very broader mindset, but there have been people, and to be very brutally honest, there will be people even now, but they are very less common. So what did you really tell to compensate for that? Like how did you like, no, this is not it, just because I'm a woman, so you don't get to tell these things. Like, how did you overcome those things actually when people kind of reacted?
yeah. So my work principle is that I only work with people who who are a certain kind, especially when it comes to respecting women. I only work with clients who show respect towards women. So in case I feel, even during the initial discussions, if I feel that even if there is like an inkling of disrespect towards women, or that kind of superiority that they show towards about being a man, I certainly wouldn't take it up. So that is one way I've handled it, where I've not worked with such clients. So all the clients that I've chosen, and it is important as a photographer, male or female, it is important for us to choose our clients, because just like how they choose the photographer, it is also important for us to choose the right client, because that's the only way you'll be happy with your work, and they'll be happy with your work as well. So yeah, so I've always chosen clients who respect me for what I do and respect women in general. So even with brands, the minute a brand talks that way and indicates that women are any less than men, I just choose to not work with them. So that's what happened with that particular brand. Also, I don't want to mention which brand, but I just decided not to work with them, and that's how I go about it. Because sometimes, no matter how many, in what way you put it across, sometimes when people choose to close their minds, it's extremely impossible for you to open it up. So, so it's better to just pick and choose your clients and work with people who actually respect you for the kind of work that you do and respect you for the person that you are.
Cool. So now that you have answered the challenges, I think there'll be many other points actually, but I don't want to get into the challenge part again. And I feel that you, as a female photographer, you have more advantages when it comes to the wedding, especially getting access to a bride room or makeup or anything, right? So I've seen like female photographers have an edge when it comes to these things actually. So you really, can you elaborate on that actually? How is the relationship between you and the family as a whole, or the bride? Like how do you think you have an edge over a male photographer?
Yeah, so of course, definitely, in some cases we do get an edge, because it's easier for us to befriend the brides, and it's easier for us to connect with them, because it's like we understand their likes and dislikes, and things like that. So it's easier for us to find common grounds, and common topics that we can discuss and bond over. So it becomes actually easy to bond as friends, and then shoot, rather than come in as a totally unknown photographer, or just like a wedding vendor and do your job and get out of it. So it becomes a lot easier for any photographer if they can actually bond with their subjects, rather than just be a vendor. So that way it becomes, it is, of course, like I said, it is easier for a woman to get closer to the bride, and also we get access to the makeup room and things like that. So but having said that, I've seen a lot of male photographers as well who bond really well with all sorts of clients, so including the bride. So it all depends on, the whole chemistry between the photographer and the client. So yeah, it is easier for a woman, but it's not too hard for a man as well.
True. If we, yeah, Kiran, yeah.
Okay, Nita, I know you have not prepared for a slideshow, but we would like to see some of your work before seeing the next questions.
Okay, sure. Like I was telling you guys, I had a quick shoot in my studio today, so not really a quick shoot, an entire day shoot. So I didn't really get time to pull out all the newer images, but I just downloaded some from Facebook and Instagram and put it together in a quick slideshow. So I'll just play that.
That's more than sufficient.
Just a second. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so these are all some of my favorite images. May not be the most recent ones, and may not be like very fancy, complicated stuff. But some of my favorite images for various reasons. Yeah, so let me just skip through this. So these are my work links in case someone wants to follow or get in touch. My website, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest links are there. Do stay in touch. That would be nice to, catch up with the viewers of this channel.
I'm pretty sure everyone in our profile knows your
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. A little about myself. I'm also a mentor on Pixel Village. So let me skip that slide. Okay. So
Radhakrishnan sir is watching. I'm not sure.
Sorry?
I think Radhakrishnan sir was watching. I'm not sure.
Okay. Nice. Nice. Yeah. So I have been a mentor on Pixel Village for like 1.5 years, I think now, and we've done lots of tutorials with him, and it's an amazing experience working with Radha sir. So, okay, let me go ahead with some of the images. Okay, so again, not really in any particular order. I've just pulled in random images from Facebook, but these are some of my favorites for various reasons. Some of them because I love the moment, some of them because I love the people in it, and some of them because I love the landscapes and things like that. So yeah, these are some of my favorite images that yeah.
These elements.
Yeah, I think that's what I could manage until like the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, just to have people who are seeing, I wish to see your work also. so that it's good. That's how a photographer feels about showing his work. So I know, but I always ask in the last minute. So that's something we do often.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm like extremely conscious of showing my work because I don't have like the latest images online because I'm like extremely lazy. I don't get to update my Facebook page or my website. And then when someone asks me to send them some images I've shot, I just randomly pick whatever is there on Facebook. So that's what I did now.
Okay. So I have a question here.
Yeah.
So on related to photography, what do you think is a good picture? Is it like a photographer should be more of a technical guy, or he should be more of a story related person or a creative person? Which works better?
Uh, Obviously, a combination of both, like technical and creative, would work the best. Like I keep saying, if you want to make a good photograph, then it has to have like good composition, great lighting, and also a great moment. But of course, like in the worst case, if you don't have great composition, if you have okay lighting, but if you have a great moment, you can still get away. So uh, that kind of tells that being able to capture the moment is like the most important of all. So even if you get it wrong technically here and there, it's still okay. But yeah, you should be able to uh, be able to capture those moments. So that is what is most important.
Okay. And then one more question. Okay, again, it's something out of the question book which we've sent you. Because usually my way of doing things is like I ask questions people on the spot, so that people might take little time, but there is a lot of good answers coming in. So I would like you to describe a situation wherein if you had faced any, like your gears are failing, like where you're shooting, the lights are not syncing properly, and you're getting a good pressure from the bride and the groom to get the shoot uh, completed quickly. So, did you had any situation like that, and how did you manage that?
I mean, with wedding shoots, you guys would know every shoot is an experience. Every shoot teaches you so many more things, and you always have to be like, prepared, uh, overly prepared for the shoot. One of the initial experiences that I can share is, probably 1 year into wedding photography, and I was shooting with a crop sensor DSLR, and although it was I'd been using the DSLR like on and off for like the previous 2-3 years, but it was still kind of not very old. So uh, unexpectedly, during the shoot, during the makeup session, my DSLR shutter broke. That was something I wasn't even prepared for. I wasn't even, I didn't even have an idea that the shutter can break at that point. So you can imagine what went through in my head. It was like so, I mean, I was so panicked, but luckily it was during the makeup session. So I just asked my fiance at the moment, I asked him to, just get me his camera, and he had another camera. So, and he was like half an hour to 45 minutes away. So I could still manage to cover all the most important moments uh, during the wedding. I didn't miss anything during the wedding, but I could not shoot anything during the makeup and getting ready session and stuff. So after that, I've been like always freaked out, and I always ensure that I carry like three sets of gear. In another shoot, uh, I did a mistake and I dropped my only wide angle lens. I dropped it on concrete floor, and the mount broke, and then it wouldn't just fit into my camera at all. So although nothing happened to the optics, the mount got kind of jammed and it just didn't fit on the camera. And then I had to shoot the entire wedding on a 50 and that was like the hardest thing to do because I am so used to wide angles. So yeah, so these are all things that teaches you that you have to be careful and you have to be like more responsible and things like that. So after that we carry like three sets of gear even if I mean at least we have like two backup bodies at all times, so that whatever happens we are like sorted.
Yeah, so from the experience, there is a message. So people who are watching it, carry a couple of cameras and be prepared. So that's something you have to note from. So that's an important point, Nita. So again, I'm going to put a different question altogether. So before that, Raj, do you have anything to ask?
No, you just go with your flow. Maybe I can just ask the other questions later.
Okay, so it's something again. It's asked in the questions also. So there are so many industries across, and so why did you choose photography? And as well as that, I understand this particular generation doesn't have a problem of whether a women shooting or a guy shooting. So that's the generation. But still, there I know in the industry there is a lot of troubles which do come. So what are the troubles do you actually face? Because I know even for a photographer as a man, um, few photographers won't allow us to shoot properly. Okay, so being a woman, it's like even more one step tougher job than us. So any experiences like that, and how did you overcome? Because we would like to know how did you overcome that, because that made you to sit here. So that's the answer I would like to listen from you, or an
Okay.
experience.
Yeah. So, first of all, I chose photography. I mean, I had no idea that I'll ever become a photographer. I'm an engineer, actually. I was working as an engineer. I worked for a couple of years as an R&D engineer before I switched to photography. And I mean, once I came to Bangalore to, join my job, I decided to travel a lot. So I picked up a camera, and while I was traveling, I discovered my interest in photography, my passion for photography, and that's how the whole journey started. And of course, I had no idea that I'll become a wedding photographer. Then I thought I'll become a travel photographer, but it just so happened that I took a lot of portraits of people while traveling, and a lot of my classmates liked them, and my classmates and friends started hiring me for their wedding shoots, and that's how I ended up in wedding photography. But yeah, once I started doing wedding photography, I knew there was no looking back, because this is one field I really enjoy. I love capturing moments, and I love capturing people. People in their moment is what I love. So wedding photography fit that whole description perfectly. So that's how I ended up doing wedding photography, and I've ever since really loved being a wedding photographer. So, of course, there is a lot of other things we do too. Like we have a studio and we do a lot of product shoots, we do a lot of portrait shoots and stuff. But it is weddings that still gets me really really excited about, and I really love going and I really love being able to uh, take pictures that will matter even after like maybe 50 years, and uh, memories that matter for the entire lifetime, sort of a thing. So yeah, that's the answer to the first question. And then the second part, what you asked, of course, like I said, there will be challenges in any field, and there will be challenges uh, for men or women. Maybe as a woman, what I can say is, I think initially I found it hard to work, uh, you know, with huge teams. Like when I used to be a freelancer, I used to work alone, and there would be like the other photography team who would have like some 20 people. In fact, there was a wedding in shoot in Kerala that I did, where there were like 22 photographers, and it was me and my husband on the other side. So you can imagine how bad it was. Like especially when you're working with like multiple teams, it becomes really challenging, because again, it all depends on the way they look at things. If they are not very progressive and they think that, oh, what can a woman do, she's just coming into our frame and things like that, then they don't really let you take your frames. So that was becoming a challenge. So the way I overcame it is, I realized that uh, one thing is for wedding photography, it's good to have alternate angles. It's good to have backup angles. So, and it's good to have a team which is like a support system, because weddings are really, really, long affairs. So when, if you get, really exhausted, it's always good to, have like some people, to back you up, in taking some shots and things like that. So, of course, you know, the main reason that I started building the team was because, when I realized that this, has to be like at least 2 to 3 people shooting at all times to ensure that we cover every moment. It's better to, give the client an kind of like a one-stop solution rather than let them hire multiple teams to do the same thing. And it just becomes challenging for all the teams, and all the teams are like, instead of doing their job, they're like, literally competing with each other, which is totally unnecessary. So, the way to overcome this challenge was just to build my own team, and that's what I did. And of course, my husband also started working with me, which was like a huge advantage. So I made him switch his job as well. So he's also a full-time photographer now. Uh, so yeah, we both do wedding photography, and we have a team. So it's easier to do everything by ourselves, so that the client doesn't have to hire like multiple teams, and it doesn't have to become like a nasty competition between, who's getting the best shot or something like that.
Okay. So then who is the best photographer right
Yeah,
now?
that
Yourself
was
or
my
your husband?
question.
Myself. No doubt about that.
Is he watching? Is your husband watching?
He is watching, I hope.
Okay. Now keeping the same thing in mind,
He'll agree too, so.
he is very sweet. That's all. So keeping this in mind, it's a bit of a controversial question. Do you think women make better wedding photographers than men?
uh, I mean, I'm answering this to 2 men, so I don't know how you guys will react. But yes,
Oh, it's
of
okay. Not.
course, I think women make better wedding photographers, because women generally, find it extremely easy to develop empathy. I think empathy is an important, aspect of wedding photography. You have to know, what the client is thinking at all times. You have to be able to, picture yourselves in their shoes. You have to be able to, you know, be able to read the emotions at every point of time, and you should be able to, uh, feel what others are feeling. So if you are able to, develop empathy, of course, it's not like, men don't have empathy, and of course they do. A lot of wedding photographers I know, male wedding photographers I know, are excellent at their job, and obviously it's because they are able to anticipate all moments, and it's because they do, they can actually feel, what's going to happen, or they can actually feel the emotions in the scene. So, but it does come naturally to women. Empathy does come naturally to women. So I think yes, women do make better wedding photographers. Yeah, but yeah,
To add
empathy
on
is
her
something
point,
anyone can develop. So
true. No,
I
to
think we
add on
have
her
to
point,
fight with her for some time, I guess.
yeah.
I have a separate experience because my wife, she's like a hobbyist. She's like not into full time photography, but once I took her to a wedding, maybe I think in 2018. Okay, so I was the one who spoke with client. I was the one who got the order, everything. Like as the lead photographer, I was there actually, but she was like just as a secondary photographer, and then she was like as a like clicking along with me, talking with everyone. And I felt that time itself like they connected better with her. Not that I didn't try, not that I was not friendly. I was being friendly. I was being like empathetic, like you told, and then very flexible with everything and all. But still, they had a better connect, especially the bride and the bride's mom. They had a better connect with her. That's what, in my experience, maybe other experience would be different. They would have liked the male
Yeah.
photographer. In my experience, I felt it because it is in my own family actually. So yeah, Kiran, you'd like to add into it?
Okay. I absolutely agree to it because, yeah, women are more related to a connection as like men, we don't really care about anything. We just wander around. So if you ask me, I would not really, someone is crying, okay, that's a moment for me. I need to put it in the album, so I will shoot it. But there is no big connect. And I know
Yeah.
that's how men think. Okay, it's not something, most of them again, there are emotional
Yeah.
people too, but for women, it's natural and it's an instinct which they can really
Bro, I am
on
getting
and
emotional,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, like the moment that you described, if I see someone crying, I'll actually be crying myself. So, that's how women are. Like, if someone is smiling, I'm smiling behind the camera. If someone is crying, I'm crying behind the camera. So, it's that instant connect that comes easily to all women. So, that's what makes us, uh, you know, better wedding photographers.
I get it actually because those moments, right? We'll be thinking like, when can I go home and play PUBG? At least I do that myself and Kiran do that. But you guys like more go into you live it along with the a female photographer. They live it along with the clients actually. Not
Yes.
that no offense to men who are saying it actually. There are people who are very emotional and then they love the job. It's just me and Kiran. We think like that actually. Okay.
so it's like if I see if the bride is crying, that moment I would go to my camera bag and put the wide angle lens and I would be just like, I am getting a good shot today. that's that's the emotional connect I usually do. And
Yeah.
later, so that's how it works. So dragging to
Yeah.
this, I have another
You know,
question, which is long time I was thinking, okay, women take good photographs, and I agree to all those points. But one difficult question or one difficult job in this process, how do you manage the weight of the cameras?
uh, I hadn't realized that my camera was heavy until I tried the mirrorless, and then I got used to mirrorless, and now I'm like, how did I ever shoot with a DSLR and all those heavy lenses? Somehow, I think when we are in the field and we're shooting, we don't really realize, uh, you know, uh, because I can go through any sort of a situation, and I can shoot for like 20 hours at a stretch. I can handle any sort of equipment and shoot, and then once I'm back home, that's when I realize what I've done to my body. And it's like my hands are swollen and my feet is swollen, and it's like yeah, we realize it probably after the shoot. Maybe during the shoot, it's that adrenaline rush that keeps us going through without noticing the weight and stuff. But yes, once I switched to mirrorless, I think now there is no way I can switch back to DSLR. Now I can't even lift a DSLR with a heavy lens anymore. But yeah, now weight is not at all a concern. Even after I come back from the shoot, my hands don't feel like tired and exhausted and stuff. So yeah.
Good.
Okay. So I think it's been around 40 minutes. Okay. So we would like to ask you a last question. And
Sure.
there is a few comments from Hemant Kumar, just one question. So basically, after that, we'll just wrap up the session. So being the industry leader you are now, so can you just describe what it took to take you there actually, to the position, whatever you are now actually? It's a
Uh,
general
I
question.
think I think a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and uh, a lot of I mean, it's not just the uh, good side of things. There's also like the ugly side, which is like the insecurities and uh, you know fear, and where uh, fear of failure basically. And it's like uh, in between all this, I have just kept pushing myself to do better and better. So definitely a lot of hard work is what I would say.
Okay. Okay. There is one
So
question from yeah, Kiran, please tell me.
yeah, go ahead.
So there is one question from Hemant. How did you exposure yourself as a photographer initially?
So how I probably he means to ask like how I uh,
Started as
got
a
more clients,
photographer.
or yeah. So uh, I think social media helped a lot earlier for me. Of course, these days it's not the same because there is so much of content on social media. So you have to be like, and plus the whole, the way social media works has changed because it's become more of a money thing now, where no matter what, you have to like do a lot of promoted posts and things like that, especially for people who are new into the industry. But earlier it wasn't like that. So it was easier because there was lesser content on social media. So people were consuming less content. So it was easier to, get their attention and things like that. So yeah, social media did help a lot. Uh, that's how I started getting clients, because I just randomly uploaded some pictures on social media and I started getting clients, and that's how it grew. But yes, it's just the initial, push that you need that is probably a little hard. But once you start getting a few clients, then all you need is their references and their referrals to and the word of mouth, what you call it, because once you have established some good relationships with clients, it's extremely easy to get more work, because they'll always be kind of like talking about your work, and they'll always be doing the promotion for you on your behalf. So uh, if you initially, yes, you have to like probably struggle a little bit to get some clients, but once you are once you have a few assignments, just ensure that you uh, please your clients and ensure that you make your clients extremely happy, because they are the ones who will get you more work. Social media no longer works the same, so it's not very easy to get work from Facebook or Instagram anymore. So make sure you please your clients, make sure you keep your clients extremely happy, and they'll ensure that you get more and more work.
Okay. Cool answer. I think Hemant, Nita answered your question, and just one last question, Nita. So this goes for all the female photographers. What advice would you give for female photographers who are getting started in this industry, not wedding, in photography in general?
Yeah. So first of all, I think whatever limitations that women set for themselves is in our mind. So we should probably get rid of that idea that there are certain things that men can do better, or there is certain fields that women can't go into. We can do literally anything. So that is the first thing. Then once you're sure that you want to get into photography, don't let anyone tell you otherwise, because every woman deserves that freedom of choice, where she can figure out what sort of a career she wants to get into, or what sort of work she wants to do. And of course, having said all this, ensure that you are safe, ensure you have a good team. It could be other women, or it could be men and women who will support you and who will ensure that you are safe at all times. If at all any of the time you feel that something is not right, or if you feel unsafe at that moment, feel free to say no, because you will get plenty of opportunities, and you need not grab each and everything that comes your way. So that is one advice that I would give to all the women photographers out there, because yes, it's not just in photography. The world in general sometimes can get a little unsafe, so it's better to be on the safer side. And with photography, the only challenge being the long hours, late hours. So this safety issue might become, might be a concern for many women out there. So it's better to be, if you feel unsafe, if you feel something is not right, it's better to just say no to that client and look for opportunities elsewhere. But once you take it up, just ensure that you have a good team to support you, so that, you can ensure your safety at all times. So even with our own team, like whenever we complete a wedding shoot and we are coming back, it's always the women in our team that get dropped first. Like all the female photographers in my team get dropped first, and we ensure that they reach home safely, and we ensure at least one of our teammate goes along with them and drops them home and things like that. So these are small things that you can do which will make you feel a lot safer. otherwise, don't let anyone tell you that you can't do a certain job because it's a man's world or something like that. Because women can do anything really well. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Anita. Kiran, any other questions, or else we can wrap it up?
Okay. So, who is your inspiration? It can be anyone.
In photography, you mean, right?
Yeah, in photography in general.
I mean, I get inspired from like strong women. So it could be, anyone as simple as Jacinta Ardern, or it could be, someone like in photography field, maybe, people like Susanna Barbera. You mentioned Susanna earlier. So any strong woman who is doing excellent in her field is who I look up to. So yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think Kiran froze.
Kiran unfroze.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Kiran. Anything else?
No, I think I had asked my questions. So, just a minute. I'm just looking at the watch parties
Yeah,
in there.
Kiran, I am looking at the watch party for any questions. No, my watch party doesn't have any questions. What
I
about you?
shared what your watch party on my
Okay.
Facebook. I don't see anything there.
Okay, I am checking yours as well. Yeah, there is nothing in your end also.
Okay, awesome. I think I don't know if I'm talking. Can you guys hear? Because my voice and video is not syncing.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds fine to us.
Okay. So, Neeta, thank you so much. We are glad to have you here. So, we were planning for this particular session long back, and then we tried to approach you, and you agreed. So, really, thank you again, because I think you are the first female photographer to be in our sessions. So,
You guys should call more then.
yeah,
Definitely.
I mean, again, it's a men thing. We find it difficult to approach people. So, to ping a woman, I feel like so much time or think so much time to just even ping, because that's how it has been made. So, that's it. We do had some bitter experience. Okay. So, I mean, they block you even without knowing anything. Just for a hi, they block you. So that's the reason we were like, okay, we should be very, very clean in like who we are asked and who. So in that way, you are very approachable, and that's something others also should be following. Because not everyone who pings is like going to flirt
Of
with
course
you.
not. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, of course not. I mean, I hope this session was useful to all uh, aspiring women photographers over there. So I would love to see more women photographers come up in this, in India at least. So I hope we have inspired some people. Sorry if I was like, if I seem extremely tired and if I'm like having difficulty in expressing my thoughts, because you can imagine after a shoot, it's always like tiring. So
Still, you
So
were
yeah,
inspired. So
it's inspiring. You don't have to be thinking. The most tired person in this group would be me, because I slept at 2 a.m. and I just got up at 6. Okay, but at least you did a shoot. I was also shooting, but not with the camera, but in PUBG.
yeah, lockdown is a great time for that. Like
Yeah.
all our gaming devices have come outside because my husband is like busy gaming all the time now.
Then your setup looks really good. So we need to appreciate that also. But I know it takes a lot of effort to get something like that. So I would like to appreciate in that aspect also. So we are happy to have you, because I know I've been following your profile for a long time also. So I've been seeing your growth also. And thank you so much for joining us. And I think we all can stay in the line right now. And next week, guys, அடுத்த வாரம் இன்னொரு பர்சன் கூட்டிட்டு வரோம், பாருங்க, செஷன்ஸ் இது பண்ணுங்க. அண்ட் தெரியும் இது இங்கிலீஷ் செஷன், மோஸ்ட்லி தமிழ்ல தான் இருக்கும். பட் சம்டைம்ஸ் இங்கிலீஷ் தெரியலனாலும் we wanted to bring content out. Adanala we are doing it. So thank you guys for watching, and stay safe. That's all we could say.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
Nita, you can stay on the line actually.
Okay.